Some more draft day college sports basketball 2020 with our Tulane Green Wave, and today we are getting into our 2026 season, which is going to be our second season with the Green Wave. We just brought in a monster recruiting class. Anybody that hasn't seen it yet, you can see right over here the names. And I'm just, as usual, checking the device, making sure we're up and running. I've got a red dot. Let's get to our chat, if I can figure that out. So anybody that hasn't seen it, take a look at the recruiting class here. Pretty ridiculous. We brought in the third best center in the nation, BB Higgins, number 19 overall recruit. Also brought in this shooting guard, well, actually two shooting guards. This one is number 33 overall, number 8th best shooting guard, 4-star. And then this guy here at number 50 and the 12th best shooting guard. And then we got Sean Larry, who's a small forward. He performed well in camps, though. He's got great high school stats. I got big things in the future for Mr. Sean Larry. So, all right, a little echoey, but better than last time. Yeah, I don't know what in the world happened with the audio last time. I double-checked it this time. My microphone is front-facing. I double-checked that it's not on the webcam microphone, so it shouldn't be that. Outside of that, the only other possibility is like some kind of weird settings or something. So that's our recruiting class. Next year, Tulane, like this is the type of recruiting class that I would be happy with at a Louisville, at a Duke, at a Kentucky. To bring it in at Tulane is ridiculous. So next year it's going to get lit. But this year, let us check our depth chart. I cannot remember. Depth chart going from recruiting into actually playing the games. I can never remember if I actually did it. So we got Stetson, Boyce, Lusek, Ladeau, and Lucius. Yeah, this looks good to me. We're going to roll with this depth chart. So let's see what we're getting this season with Tulane, guys. We got, I'm going to turn in-game audio up just a hair. We got a full season here with, I think 2 of the guys that I brought in last year who I really thought would be solid. And, at a school like Florida A&M where I started off, they would have been program builders. Here, they might be one-year starters. I don't know. We're bringing in a couple of shooting guards that can go along with Stetson. That's great. Lucius, I think, is graduating, so bringing in Higgins to play the center is going to be awesome. And then we'll just see where Sean Larry fits in with this. Ladeau, I think, is going to be awesome. So, I mean, we could have a really, really good lineup really quick here. But enough talking about what we might have next year. Let's hit it this year. Let's see what we got. So we got a couple of scouting reports here, redshirt reminder, some weekly incidents. I actually took care of that last save, the weekly incidents. I believe I took care of last time. So we don't have to worry about that. Time to kick off the season, and let's get rolling. So I think, let's check our goals real quick. Qualify for the NIT, which we just barely missed that last year. Top half of the conference, above 500, and improve school prestige. So even though last year we did not make the NIT, we did still improve school prestige. So it's not a high bar. I'm hoping that, I understand that the players I brought in are still freshmen, but I'm hoping that they're more talented than the guys that we used to have, and they can kind of carry us a little bit. So want to give a little shout out to chat here. I see Agalia. He was the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 in our NCBA, so congrats to him. That'll go in the record books. Now, of course, you got to remember, Virginia was the first school to actually do that in real life, and they turned around the next year and won the championship. And Agalia is coaching the Kentucky Wildcats in the NCBA, and he's got an absolutely ridiculous recruiting class coming in next year, so he could double down on that. So we'll just have to see what happens, but you lose 11 games, maybe you ought not be a 1 seed. But of course, 3 of the 1 seeds all lost. The only one remaining is, of course, Duke and Justin, and that's beyond frustrating. So we're going to leave the NCBA behind, and we're just pushing forward with Tulane tonight. So we get our first game against NC Asheville at home. I'm ready to do this, guys. I think it's going to be a good season. I'm hoping for a tournament bid here. I mean, I know starting next year, tournament bids are coming every year. There we go. Good start. Good start. Little 24-point win. Lucius. Ooh, what did he do there? What's that box score? 19 and 12. That's a heck of a double-double to start out the year. And look at Ledoux, the freshman, in his first game. 15 points, 8 rebounds. That's what I'm talking about. That's why, like, once you can identify guys that are doing well in high school, doing well in camps, you bring them into a school like this, they're instant offense, instant production. So Ledoux, right out of the gate, exactly what I would expect from him. Agelia is asking if anybody in the conference is ranked to start the season. So last year we did have a handful of ranked teams. It looks like this year we've got the number 7 Memphis Tigers and the number 23 Connecticut Huskies. Now last year Southern Methodist also creeped into the top 25 at one point. I know along with those 3 teams, Tulsa also made the NCAA tournament as well as Cincinnati. Both of those teams are currently unranked, but this is definitely a pretty solid conference. It's pretty deep. It's not an ACC. I mean, it's not a, well, I don't want to say it's not a Power 5. You know, it's not the ACC. It's not the Big Ten. There are years where I think it's very comparable to the Pac or to the Big 12. The SEC, it's interesting because you always think of the SEC as a football conference, and you know you really just think it's like, oh, okay, well, Kentucky and sometimes Florida and Vandy. But you know the SEC always, they just have such athletic players that they're always dangerous. So I would never want to disparage the SEC in basketball. They do more than I would ever really care to admit. But the Pac and the Big 12, I think there's definitely years that the American are equal to them. So here we go. We got, is this California Baptist? California Baptist coming in to Tulane. So let's see what we get here. Oh, yes. Nice little 31 points. And look at Ledoux, 11 and 7. Boyce and Stetson. So out of the top 3 players in the game, you got 2 of them as freshmen. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm bringing these guys in. That's what I'm looking for. I'm feeling pretty good. I realize it's only California Baptist. And here we go. All 4 of our signees signed their letters of intent, which obviously means they've all made the grades. They'll all be in school next year. Yeah, single player saves, the Pac. Like in game, the Pac is all right, and in game, the West Coast in general is all right. They usually get Gonzaga will always usually do well in their conference, and then you'll usually get like BYU, sometimes St. Mary's. There's a handful of teams out west. It's usually not Arizona for some reason, but a handful of teams out west usually do well in the tournament in game, but like in real life, not so much. It seems to me at least. So here we go on the road, our first true road game of the season, headed into the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Hank McCamish Pavilion. Let's see what we can do. If we can just compete, it doesn't have to be a win, but if we're competitive in this, it's going to bode well for the season, and we're going to take it. Look at Ledoux, 19 and 10. Look at the freshman. That's his 3rd collegiate game on the road, going 19 and 10. That is exactly why I brought the boy in. Exactly why I brought him in. Now, I might have missed that. I know it said a lot of times, just based on the home and away, it'll tell you you're at the home team's arena. But when we come out here, this actually looks like it's a tournament. So I'm not sure how the game processes these for like home versus away, or if it has a neutral court setting for this kind of thing. But we are definitely on a neutral court for this game. So I don't know if that win over Georgia Tech was as big as I thought it was, but I'm not certain. Anyway, I would love to beat Texas Tech here and go back-to-back against Power 5 schools. And it happens, 11 points. Again, Ladeau with a double-double. Lucius also had a double-double, I believe. So, out of the gate, 4-0 here with Tulane. Now we're going to be playing UNLV. I've got to imagine this is either a semifinal or a final of whatever tournament this is. All right, so let's see what we got. Oh, 3-point loss. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I thought we were going to win a preseason tournament. That would have been awesome. In our second year, starting 2 freshmen. But now, here we go. Stephen Raines mouthing off about Brett Stetson. Let's see what that looks like. So here we go. Raines, the redshirt senior, upset about the freshman stealing all his PT. To be expected. I get it, man. I'm not going to hold it against you, but yeah, there is something to worry about, actually. Yeah. Good thing you apologize, because I would definitely suspend him, no problem. Like, my starters, sometimes I'll go a little bit light on them, but backups, no mercy there. So 4-1, a couple of big wins in there, but you know, UNLV got us in either the semifinal or the final of that tournament. I never checked the full tournament to see exactly which game it was. It would have been great to win it, but I think it's a great sign for the guys that we brought in, where this is going to go, and like how quickly this is going to turn into something ridiculous. Because I mean, next year we might make the NCAAs this year. Next year it's a guarantee, and from then on, like, it's about Sweet 16s and pushing Final Fours and getting upsets and crazy stuff here with the Tulane Green Wave. So taking them out. We're taking them out. We're taking over the American, and we're taking over the NCAA. UAB coming in to Tulane. We dispatch them. 18 points. Jay Malone, another freshman, leading the way. Brett Stetson. Look at that. All 3 freshmen are the top 3 players of the game. Malone, Stetson, and Ladeau. I keep telling you guys, like, pay attention to their high school stats. Pay attention to how they do in camps. Bring those guys in, especially at a small school. They'll perform. I mean, it's just nonstop. You haven't watched the old videos? You gotta get the shh. I think it's better than the rattler hiss. I couldn't think of any other emoji or whatever you want to call it for the green wave, so I thought the shh worked out well. All right, so now we got Boston University coming in, and again, you know, if Florida A&M, this would be a game where I'd be like nervous. Here, we should be winning these. We should be winning these, and it shouldn't be a huge issue. So, if we lose it, I'll be actually upset. But no, 18 points, Ladeau, Lusick, and Boyce. So again, led by a freshman. And Ladeau is absolutely coming out of here. Yeah, I love the wave emoji there, Agelia. That's awesome. We need to find a way to, I think on Twitch, like once you got so many followers, you can like get your own emojis or something. I need to get a wave that's green. I don't know if we can Photoshop that or if we got to, we'll investigate it. We'll get us a green wave. How about that? I'm going to put Chris on it. That's going to be his homework assignment. I'm not going to do it. My job's to look pretty and recruit studs and win games here. Chris can do the emojis or whatever background stuff he's got going on. All right, so now we're headed on the road. This is a true road game. You can see we're not in a tournament here. Headed into Western Kentucky. They haven't won a game all year. So Once again, one of those games where Florida A&M, it would have been a toss-up here. I expect to win this. These are games that we should win. These freshmen have panned out 100% so far the way I expected them to perform. We better win this game. Look at Louisville sucking over here at 2-3. Yikes. Might have to go fix that in a couple of years. I'm just joking. I can't have that many saves when I'm at Louisville. Oh, shoot. Lost by 15. So Stetson, Ladeau played well, but we got rocked and gave up the first win of the season to Western Kentucky. That's pretty embarrassing, to be quite honest. That's absolutely embarrassing. And, you know, I can forgive it to some degree when almost all of our leaders are freshmen. But that's not what we want to be doing. And that's the type of game that I'm talking about where, like, that won't happen next year. Like this year when you lose games like that, those are the kind of games that cost you your NCAA tournament spot. They just are. We lost a bad one at home last year, and I really think that one game was at least the difference between the CBI and the NIT. And now we go on the road and lose to a Western Kentucky team that hadn't beat anybody else all year. Absolutely miserable loss. Let's see if we can make it up here against the Binghamton Bearcats. So at least it is a home game for us. We take care of business. But we did have an injury, but Omari Peterson, I do not even recognize that name. So let's see who that even is. That is a walk-on power forward. It's got a sore hip, 7 days, non-issue. We're not going to worry about that. Let's bounce over and check out our emails real quick just to clear these up. Oh, we got Duke coming up, guys. Well, where's Justin? Somebody ping Justin. Tell him to send his girlfriend home and jump on the Twitch stream real quick. There's Zags looking like number 3 in the nation. Well, shout out to Josh there. Season 1 of the NCBA, national champion. Your Gonzaga Bulldogs. All right, so we're 7-2, moving in towards the middle of December here. So we're definitely getting into it. Once we jump into league play, I'll swap over and check out our stats and see who's really performing well. You can see who week to week is showing up as a top performer. All right, let's see how this game against Robert Morris goes real quick. Nice little 20-point win. Again, it's Ladeau, Lucius, and Stetson. So, yeah, once we get into conference play, I will try to somebody in chat, remind me to take a look at stats and see who's actually performing once we get to that point, just as sort of like a mid-season snapshot kind of thing. So 8-2, I mean, the absolutely god-awful loss to Western notwithstanding, this is a decent record. I mean, we're doing well this year, especially given that it's only our second year. We've got, I'm trying to think, I think we got 2 of our top players from last year back. All right, so here we go on the road to number 17 Duke. And this is the type of game that can kind of tell you, it can be a measuring stick, or you can underperform and it can be a total throwaway, or you'd never know, but it's an opportunity. And all you can ask for in college basketball are opportunities. I don't want to uncheck it until I run all these other games because I want that. I've made that mistake before, and it just gets jumbled in with all the others. It doesn't like play your game at the beginning or the end. It just jumbles it in. So headed to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Let's see what your Tulane Green Wave have for you today. Can they make it happen on the road in the ACC against Duke? What do they do? Oh, 17-point loss. And it looked like Lucius Boyce, and I didn't catch our third big performer there, but It looked like the freshmen were probably overwhelmed there in Cameron Indoor, and they could not make anything happen. Not that I expected them to. But yeah, you can. Agalia in chat said there's an option in the settings that can stop it on your game if you just want to sim them all at once. That's true. I know there's like a slow down thing. Is it the stop or is it just the slow down? I knew there was a slow down. Because, I mean, I don't mind that, but I also don't mind just simming all the other ones and then unchecking my check mark so that I can see my game. It's like 6 in one, half a dozen in the other, I believe, at least to me. But if you guys in chat would prefer to see it differently, just let me know. We can make that happen. You know, I'm bringing you guys these streams, trying to bring something interesting and fun. So if y'all want to see other stuff, just let me know. Whether it's in chat or whether it's Discord or comments after the fact, whatever. All right, so we're moving on. We are headed into the end of December here. We're 8-3. I'm not sure exactly how many more non-conference games we have, but again, once I see the conference games start popping up, so Morgan State, that's not a conference game. Morgan State was actually one of our conference foes from Florida A&M, so I would love to put a beat down on them for some of the grief they caused me with the Rattlers. And Agalia was joking about the green wave that we got going on here, but if we're going to be playing Morgan State, if we're doing a callback, can we get one just for tradition? Like, shout out to our Rattlers. Hope they're doing well with the 0 recruits we left them. So Morgan State coming into Tulane, and we take care of business. Little 15-point win there. We will definitely check some more box scores and standings and stuff as we go on into the second half of the season, because I know some of the most fun things to see are like how your different players are doing. Just a win-loss isn't always all that interesting, so we'll definitely jump on that, Agalia. Obviously, the standings, we haven't gotten into conference yet, but once we get into it, maybe we'll check it like at the end of each month or like every 5 games or something. Oh, UC put a hurting on Samford. Whoa, was that a 36-point game? Yikes. Ooh, what a beatdown. Agalia wants to check on our Rattlers. God, do you remember what conference they're in? Somebody shout it out when you see it. I don't think it was the Big Ten. It's a search box. Uh-oh. It's a player search box. I clicked on the wrong one. Where's the search box for teams? I don't want it to MEAC. There they are. So Florida A&M on the season, 3-4, 0-5 on the road. That's pretty brutal. Whew. Yikes. Let's see what their roster looks like right now. So Khalid Knox and maybe Jason Hughes are the only ones I recognize. I suppose since Vickers is showing up as 3 stars. So I don't know how often you guys look at other teams. A lot of times, like, if you play in some random conference on the West Coast and you check out, like, Duke, they're all going to show up as a half star because you've never scouted them. You don't have any information on them. So all these guys showing up as a half star are not a surprise. These guys at 2.5, 3 stars, these are guys that we probably know. So Khalid Knox, I definitely recognize. Jason Hughes, I definitely recognize. Desmond Vickers, I don't know who that is. But he's a 3-star guy, so he was probably on the team when I was there. Other than that, like, this roster has turned over tremendously. They only have 8 scholarship players right now. And what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 of their 8 scholarship players are either freshmen or sophomores. So, looking rough for the Rattlers. Whoops. Hey, Hughes and Knox are throwing it down, though. All right, I think we are approaching conference play here. Yeah, the year we didn't bring in any recruits with Florida A&M, I don't remember how many scholarships I had. I don't know if you remember or not, Agelia. I feel like it was maybe 2. But, I mean, they should have been better off than that. They should have had some guards around. I got to think some people transferred out after I left. All right, so here we go on the road to Southern Miss. So, again, one of those games I expect to win. We should win. Will we win? Let's see. They don't have nightmares, man. That was a good era. We won games. Shoot, I won almost 22 games with them one year, I think. Woo! Look at that, going into Southern Miss with a 9-point win. Yes, sir. Didn't catch how the game went. Let's check out the box score. So Liddell with 10 and 8. Look at Lucius, maybe Luscious. Should we call him Luscious? 12 and 12. But my boy Lusick, 21 points. Yes, sir. What a ball game. Look at our starters. Look at the plus minus here, guys. Look at the plus minus difference. Here's our starters and our reserves not really carrying it. Although Jay Malone, one of our freshmen, throwing in 12 points, going 6 for 8 from the field. So when the reserves come on the court, Malone is the only guy really filling it up. But our starters, nothing needs to be said. Making things happen. Making things happen. Whew. Man, I'm feeling good about this Tulane save. I love a team like this. Like Tulane, like one of these schools that's, you know, not a blue blood, and in this one, not even in a Power 5 conference. Oh, look at this. #1 Kentucky headed to UConn. Agalia, how do you feel about this one? Hope they lose. I didn't see the score flash across. All right, let's move on. That's all that needs to be said about that. They don't. They just got beat by UConn. All right, so we're moving into January now. The face palm. Oh, man. Shoot, let's jump back over to... let's just do this. So we've got our scouting reports. Let's head back over to the American, back into our school. Dun, dun, dun. Check out our dashboard. The ghost of Kimball Walker. All right, so yeah, we're coming into our games in the American. We'll start off at Wichita State. So let us take a mid-season pause. And you can see here, I believe that our star rankings have changed a little bit. So Stetson still at a 4-star. Carey is out to a 3.5. We got a handful of upset players here. Thankfully, only Boyce is really supposed to be sticking around. He wants to play. Is he not playing? He's starting. I don't know why he doesn't like me. Anyway, let's check out our stats. Let's see who's leading the way. So, points per game, straight out of the gate. Look at Stetson, the freshman, 30 minutes a game, 46.5% field goal percentage, 44, almost 45 from 3. That's a heck of a three-point shooting percentage. And I mean, that's not like small volume. He's shooting almost 6 a game and hitting almost 45%. So Stetson, obviously quite the shooter, throwing in 4.5 assists, but also over 3 turnovers a game. So that's where that immaturity comes in. That's where being a freshman comes in. We've got to get him to cut down on the turnovers. So as we move down, Boyce, the sophomore, throwing in 10 a game. You know, you love to see that. I didn't recruit Boyce, but he seems like a heck of a player if we can keep him happy and keep him here. Lusick, the junior, throwing in 10 a game, 3.5 rebounds. Can't get on the offensive boards at all, but throwing in a couple of assists as well and limiting the turnovers. Love to see that. Here we go with Ladeau, 11 a game, so that would make him our second leading scorer. He's also pulling down 7 rebounds a game, which is second on the team. And then we've got Lucius, Luscious, whatever you want to call it. He's our senior leader. Really, the only real, I mean, Lusick's a junior, okay. But Lucius, our only senior, and he's only playing 23 minutes a game, but he's still scoring 10, bringing in 8 rebounds a game, 5 defensive, 3 offensive rebounds a game. So you can see here, our starters are really, really carrying all the weight here. We look outside of the starters. Jay Malone is the 6th man. Look at that. Outside of the starters, Jay Malone scoring 8 a game. Now, he's only pulling in 3 rebounds a game, but he's only playing 12 minutes. This dude is scoring at a ridiculous rate. So, every 13 minutes he scores 8 points? That's not too shabby. So, I mean, give the guy 26 minutes and he's scoring 16. I don't know if we should change that up or let it. Let's take a look at what our depth chart looks like. Yeah, he's already ahead of Goodwin. Oh, that's right. Goodwin is really versatile. And so you'll see he's even playing some minutes here at small forward. So he's filling in at the 3 as a 6'8", 272-pound center. So we were really shallow at the 3 this year. So that's why he's getting more minutes than Malone. But Malone is definitely the future of the inside. Well, he's going to be a future player on the inside, but clearly B.B. Higgins, when he gets here next year, is going to take it over. All right, so that was our midseason stats review. Let's get into conference play here. We'll have Wichita State coming up very, very shortly, and I believe we're on the road, so should be a shocker. Let's get these other games out of the way and see how we get it started here in the American Athletic Conference in 2027, our second year in the conference. Tulane Green Wave headed into the Wichita State Shockers. 10-3, they're 8-4. First conference game for both teams. Oh! Tulane loses a heartbreaker. 2-point game. Oh, that hurts. Man, I would really like to win that one. 2-point loss on the road to Wichita State. But Wichita State's one of those teams in the American. The standings, Agalia, we just jumped into conference play. That was the very first conference game for both of our teams. So the conference really hasn't gotten underway. We're going to check the conference standings. I'll try to do that at the end of January and again at the end, either middle or end of February. But conference play just started, so we haven't gotten too far there. So now we got UConn. So this is really interesting because UConn last year was like top 15, I believe. And now you can see they're 8-5, and they lost their first game, and they're coming into our place. So great opportunity to pick up a win here. We need to make it happen if we want to have a chance at an at-large bid this year. Yes. 15 points, Boyce, Ladeau, and Lusick. Yes, sir. So UConn has obviously taken a step back, and we were able to pull out that home win against the Huskies. So I've got a couple of emails here, and these are just going to be scouting reports. So let's push forward here. I'm really excited. I know, asking about the standings, I'm really excited to get to the end of January and take a look at those standings and see where we're at this year. If you guys remember, if you watched the stream from last time, not only did we get, obviously the conference championship winner got into the NCAA, but the American got 5 teams into the NCAA as at-large bids. So if we have a good conference, we can clearly get an at-large. So here we go. We're going to be going into ECU. Now, if we want that NCAA berth and we're not going to win the tournament, these are the kind of games that we need to carry. It's not like ECU's a bad team, but these are opportunities to make your resume stronger. Woo! 6-point win. Look at Boyce. Look at Ladeau. Look at Lusick. Yes, sir. Let's go take a look. Take a look at that box score. Where'd we go here? 6-point win on the road. Boyce throwing in 18. Ladeau 14. Nobody really went crazy. A little luscious, putting in 7 rebounds. Jay Malone off the bench. Look at that, 20 minutes, 8 rebounds, and 9 points. That's a heck of a game in 20 minutes. That's a heck of a game. He had the -5, but I like it. Goodwin with a +17. What did he do? I don't see it in the stats. Maybe he got in at the right time or something. That I just noticed that game actually went to overtime. So it looks like Tulane had a good first half. East Carolina made a comeback, and then Tulane held on in overtime. So I told you, those type games are opportunities, and they took advantage of that one. So 2-1 in conference now, and they've all been decent games. Like I said I guess 2 streams ago, the last time we played through this American Conference, this is a good conference. It's not Power 5, but it's very, very close. Yeah, Gillia's talking about the plus-minus. And the plus-minus obviously is just, how you do when you're on the floor, your team's points versus the other team's points while you're on the floor. But a lot of times, what I was talking about when I was looking at it, like a lot of times when you look at a plus-minus, you can see like, oh, okay, that guy was scoring when he was on the court, so that made a difference. Or this guy was rebounding when he was on the court, and that made a difference. And when I looked at that guy, I didn't see anything about his stats jumping out to me, so I thought maybe he got on the court at the right time when some other guys were hot or something like that. Like I try to read into the plus-minus a little bit, but that is how the statistic is calculated. So here we go on the road to the Houston Cougars. They've not yet won a conference game. They're 4-10 on the season. Another game you got to win. Yeah, he might have played good defense. Yes. All right. Look at Lusick, 31 points. Whoa. Stetson with 16 is good, but Lusick, that boy's a junior. Whoa. Love to see it. Lusick's one of my boys. I mean, I didn't recruit him. I watched him last year as a backup, as a sixth man. He played well. He scored well. I was excited about him. And now as a junior, man, he's making his presence felt. So Lusick definitely going to be here. Oh, barring transfer. Lusick going to be here next year along with this freshman class, along with the recruiting class that we're bringing in. Next year's going to be great. This year's going to be a good year. I don't want to downplay this at all. Next year's going to be ridiculous. All right, so we actually got, it looks like UC is ranked, if you saw right there. So UC and Memphis are both ranked. They're playing against each other. Temple coming into Tulane. The Owls versus the Green Wave. Swept them out to sea, 16 points. Lucius was the only one that I saw in the top three there. It went by pretty quick. But, all right, so now here we are toward the end of January, not at the end. Let's take a look at our standings now. Cincinnati, UC Bearcats, 5-0 in the conference. And then you've got Tulsa, Memphis, and your Tulane Green Wave right here behind them at 4-1. Whew. Houston and South Florida haven't got that first conference win yet. Look at our RPIs here. So Cincinnati and Memphis are both in the top 20 of the RPI. Tulane is at 42. Now this is looking like an NCAA resume. We need to keep winning. We need to keep doing well. We can't lose any bad. Can't pick up any bad losses. 42 in the RPI is looking like an NCAA resume. And to be quite honest, like I would just assume, to heck with that. Let's just go out and win that conference tournament. But doesn't always work out the way you hope. Let's hope we can qualify for an at-large bid if it comes to that. All right, so here we go. We're going into Tulsa. Now, Tulsa last season was an NCAA tournament team. They were ranked throughout the season. So we've got pretty similar records. Going into their home arena, this would be an excellent win. This would be an excellent win for the resume. Oh, and we can't get it done. Ledoux tried. Malone tried. Boyce pitched in with 13 points, but Tulsa pulls away and wins by 7 at home. So those are the kind of games that I sort of expect this year. You know, good teams on the road. We're still going to lose those games. Everybody's going to lose those games, but we're not really at the point where I expect to win those games yet. We're getting closer to it. Next year I'll expect to win it. But this year, I mean, I get that. That's not a loss that's not a loss that ruins our season. Everything that we would like to do, we still have available to us. And now here we go into Cincinnati. So this is about the same thing, except for this is an opportunity to beat a ranked team. So I look at both these games pretty similarly. I thought Tulsa was going to be a really, really tough win. This might be slightly tougher because UC's traditionally a little bit better. They're also ranked. Great opportunity. A game we should lose, but you never know what happens. We lose. But look at that. All 3 of the top players of the game, all 3 of them are freshmen. So we've clearly got a freshman class here that's going to build this program in a good way. We landed some excellent recruits last year. We did it again this year. I can't wait to do it again. Hopefully we can stream a couple more nights this week. We'll see. But this is turning around fast. We're just not quite there yet. We've got that foundation, though. The interesting thing with the guys we brought in, like Higgins, he might go pro early. You never know. So we're starting to move in on guys that can go pro early, which has not been an issue in the 8 years that we've had this save going so far. So Central Florida, your Golden Knights, I believe, headed into Tulane. Oh, we got pounded. That's a bad loss. That's a really bad loss at home against a very average UCF team. Oh, somebody got hurt. So Brett Stetson got hurt. He's got back spasms. He's out for 10 days. So I don't know if that contributed or not. He's still at 85%, and he's by far. Oh, Carey could step in while he's out. Let's put Carey in. We'll still let Stetson play, but we're going to let Carey start until Stetson's done with those back spasms. So it was a 10-day injury. We need to swap that out around February 10th. Man, that's a bad loss. You can't be losing games at home to below-average teams. So that's a really frustrating thing. Like, it really seemed like we were on a different path this year. Sort of like last year. Last year it seemed like we were on collision course with the NCAA tournament all the way up until about early to mid-February, and then it just fell apart. Might be happening again this year. TBD. We shall see. 14-7 overall, 4-4 in the conference, though. So we did well out of conference. We even beat a couple of those Power 5 schools. Oh, now we got Wichita State coming in, a home game for Tulane. So this should be interesting. The Shockers and the Green Wave, 12-8 on the year. And so we're just getting beat down now. I don't know if we're in a slump. I don't know if it's Stetson's injury, but where we should have been on the cusp of an NCAA tournament berth, now we're just sliding back. So hoping for those recruits to come in next year and really turn it around for good, because this is definitely a good base. These freshmen, I mean, they're still leading the team. These are freshmen leading an NCAA team, maybe to an NIT, maybe to a CBI, who knows. But the three guys that we brought in are clearly three of the best 6 on the team. So not going to worry about it too much. There's nothing I can do about the players that were here before I got here. So we're headed into South Florida now. They're a pretty bad team, and we take care of business on the road. Luscious, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Carey and Lusick. So none of our freshmen actually did that well that game. That was all senior upperclassmen leadership. So interesting to see. And I think a lot of times that's kind of how it goes on the road. You need those upperclassmen to kind of shine through. And, we got that luckily. Hopefully next year we've got a great mix. All right, so that brings us back to 5-5 in conference, 15-8 overall. Still, all of our season goals are available. All right, here comes a game. Number 23, your Memphis Tigers coming into Devlin Fieldhouse. All right, I would love to pick up a win against a ranked team. This would make up for some of those bad losses we've already had. I think it's a toss-up. Yes, and we take it by 7. Look at Boyce, look at Carey. I think Lusick was the third player. Woo! Take that win over that ranked team, boys. Yes, sir. Shoot, I clicked the wrong button. Love to see it. Love to see it. Let's jump back. Gelia said he wants to see some box scores. I want to get my box score of a good win. Let's see what actually happened in this game here. So, I mean, again, look, almost all our starters. Lucius is the only one that wasn't in double figures scoring. Rebounding, Liddell with 8. Lucius with 6. Carey distributing the ball. Really limited the turnovers. Boyce was more of the turnover guy. And Stetson, look at Stetson. It's a turnover every 3 minutes. He was really, really bad. Keep in mind he's playing 18 minutes while injured. So I'll give him somewhat of a pass. Malone, 5. Look at Malone. 13 minutes. He only scored 5, but he pulled 6 rebounds in 13 minutes. That's a pretty good game. So looks like Memphis was really rallying around this one guy that scored 24. But he was still minus 12, so might want to learn to play some defense or something, I suppose. But anyway, that's our game against the Memphis Tigers. We'll take the wins where we can get them. Rolling on. We need to get another day or two, and then we need to swap Stetson back into our starting lineup. I think he should be healthy today. So we'll swap those back out, let the AI fix the matrix, and roll on ahead. All right, guys. So we're moving on toward the middle of February here. 16-8 overall, 6-5 in conference. I want to say this is an 18-game conference schedule, so should be about 7 games left in the regular season, and then it should be tournament time. So here you can see we're headed into Southern Methodist. D Rose with Memphis. Man, I never laughed so hard. Like, I never really liked Memphis. Memphis was a big rival of Louisville back in the day, back when they were Memphis State. So I didn't care for them because of that. I don't know if you know who Darius Washington is, but you might want to YouTube him. I couldn't stand the kid. And then I never really liked John Calipari. So it was sort of a perfect storm for me to not like Memphis. And they absolutely should have beaten Kansas in the 2010 NCAA championship. Whatever it was, I forget the year, but Kansas versus Memphis in the finals. Memphis had that game locked up and couldn't shoot free throws. So it was hilarious to me. So let's see what we get here out of Tulane and Southern Methodist. Yes, sir. 14-point win. Stetson showing up big. Oh, look at that. 7, 9, and 8. Like, nothing in double figures, but 7, 9, and 8. The boys filling the stat sheet. My man, Brett Stetson. Yes, sir. Yeah, it was right around that. 2008, 2009. I think you're right. 2010 was a little bit too late. I try to think of these things. Like, I remember sporting events now at this point in my life, like, based on where I was living at the time it happened. 2008, 2009 sounds more correct to me. Take a look here at the Norton finalists. Obviously, nothing going to be here yet for us, but next year, starting with Higgins, like, we might have guys in the Norton finalists. So this might be our last year of checking out that list and not having any hope whatsoever of being a part of it. Look at the Zags. Was that a 36-point win? It's either 26 or 36. It looked brutal. I didn't catch it fast enough. I think 26. The nice thing is we're creeping out here. We're up to 7-5 in conference. But, of course, as soon as we get there, Now we got to go on the road to UConn. And the bad thing is we lost a couple of the sort of like moderate games that we should have been able to win early at home. And so now we're going to have to make it happen on the road. So let's see if we can do that, or if we are going to spend another season not in the NCAA tournament. Probably not in the NCAA tournament is my guess. Tough loss there at UConn. Looked like 21 points. I just don't think we're there yet. We need a little bit more talent. We'll have it soon. We don't have it right now. So this season really is probably coming down to, can we make the NIT, and can we make something happen once we get to the NIT? The NIT is the goal that was put out there for us by the administration. That's what we're supposed to be trying to do. So let's focus on that and try not to get ahead of ourselves for now. And then next year we'll take over everything, take over the world. But for now, we got ECU coming into Devlin Fieldhouse, and we got to take care of business. And we do so 84-67. Stetson, Boyce, Ladeau. So 2 out of 3 are freshmen. Looking good. Looking good. I'm going to have to see what Ladeau ends up on the season. He's like an almost double-double machine. I mean, 15 and 8 seems like a pretty good average for him. What was he when we looked mid-season? Like 11 and 7 as an average. So as a freshman, 11 and 7, that's pretty good. So I'm kind of interested in what his season-long totals are going to end up looking like. All right, Houston coming into Tulane. I believe we won at Houston, so we're going to need to protect home court here. 8 and 6 in conference, 18 and 9 overall. Putting it on the line against the Houston Cougars. And we take care of business. 18 points. Lucic, Boyce, and Lucius. So another good night for the upperclassmen. The freshmen didn't show up so much, but I mean, Lucius, he's had a great year, and obviously Lucic as well. Boyce, I feel like Boyce was better last year. I don't know if he was one of those. We had a handful of guards last year, so I don't know if Boyce was one of those that just like popped up enough that I thought he was good, or if there's something else going on there. But all right, so now we're heading on the road to Temple. 9 and 6 in conference. A win here gets us 20 wins on the year, 10 wins in conference. This is a bad team. Again, if we're an NCAA team, these are the type of games we should win. But I don't think we're an NCAA team just yet, so this is a total toss-up. But we won it by 14. Ladeau, Lucius, Lucic. Look at Lucius, 11 and 12. Ladeau, 11 and 9. Our big guys are tearing it up, you guys. I can't wait. I can't wait until Chris Ladeau gets to his senior year. So one of the things you guys really haven't seen so much in these streams so far, because I was at Florida A&M, a lot of our better players transferred out early. But what I like to do once I get rolling in a save with one university is, like, every year when we get to the end of the year, we get to the seniors and we check out their stats, see who is a 1,000-point scorer, can we get a 2,000-point scorer, who's getting 1,000 rebounds, just all these different metrics. Looking at the stats end of the year, I cannot wait to get to Chris Ladeau's senior year and see how many double-doubles that dude gets, because I think it's going to be ridiculous. So, you know, we're not there yet. We're still in his freshman year, but we can take a peek, see what he's done so far. So only 2 so far. But he's averaging 12 points a game. Not too shabby. Only 6.3 rebounds. So I guess he's just popping up with big rebound games every now and then. But at the same time, we got Lucius on the inside, you know, stealing some of those rebounds away. And that's the thing I think of a lot of times. Like, I tend to have some fairly balanced teams, so a lot of times these guys sort of cannibalize each other's stats. So we ought to have 2 conference games left. Let's go check out the standings real quick before we move on from here. So here we are at 10-6. So we're in a tie for 4th. UC Memphis in a tie for 2nd, and UConn at 12-4 sits atop the conference. So that's really interesting. Like, we're definitely, there's no way we can finish in the bottom half. I don't think. Even if we lost out and UCF won out, they might beat us on a tiebreaker. But realistically, like, we're probably finishing top half. But, like, it's so close up here. Let's see what happens. 2 games left. The 2 games are very important. First one's against Tulsa. They're coming into our place this time. I'm getting to the point where I hate to say that we should win, but we should win. If we're as good as I hope we are, we should win. $18 points. 18 points. So, you know, that's the thing that's, like, curious. This team half the time performs exactly as I would expect. And then the rest of the time they lose at home to UCF and crazy stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. It's very interesting. We'll see how it goes. It looks like we're going to have to finish off the year against the University of Cincinnati. We know that's probably, I mean, historically speaking, either UC, Memphis, or Wichita State are the strongest in this conference. So, you know, not an easy game to finish it out, that's for sure. What's up, S. Hunter? Glad you can make the stream. So here we go. Number 23, Cincinnati Bearcats, 18-11 on the season, 11-6 in conference, coming into Tulane. Absolutely, man. Glad you can make it. We're nearing the end of the stream here, but we got all the best parts. You missed the boring part of the season where we just win and lose games. Here we come into our conference tournaments, into our NCAA tournaments, or whatever postseason tournament we end up in. If we beat UC right here, we're an NCAA team, right? We're 21-9, 11-6 in conference. This conference put 5 at-large bids into the NCAA last year. We beat UC, we're an NCAA team. If we lose, it doesn't mean we're not, but we're more likely NIT, depending on how the conference tournament goes. So, guys, this is a massive game. Let's get our fingers crossed, get our toes crossed, get our green wave. UC Bearcats, Tulane green wave, tipping it off. What's going to happen? Oh, 3 points. 3 points. 3-point game. Redone and Stetson played out of their minds, and we just couldn't quite get there. But, guys, that was a good game. That was a good game. So 21-10, 11-7 on the season. Time to see what the conference tournament's going to bring. Obviously, UC just beat us on our home court. There's a handful of these teams that should beat us on our home court, like UC. There's a handful that, you know, once we get onto a neutral court, we should be able to play with. So, ideally, I would like to make the semifinals of this tournament. We'll see how it actually turns out. Should start tomorrow. All right, so here's your first round games. We obviously got a bye. So we're going to play SMU in, I guess it would technically be the second round, but our opening round of the American Athletic Conference Tournament. Playing the SMU Mustangs. Again, if we think we've got a shot at the NCAA, this is an absolute must-win game, and we can't do it. We're headed to the NIT. That's so frustrating, guys. Gosh. So frustrating. Checking out some of the tip videos. That's awesome, man. Hope you enjoyed them. If you got any questions or like clarification or anything like that, always reach out. Oh, look at UC took care of SMU in that final game. So yeah, those tip videos are kind of one of those things where like you throw out things that you think are helpful, but you never really know like what you're doing when people like are watching you do it. Sometimes you're doing things you aren't even thinking about. So I think that like the streams and stuff, I hope they're also helpful. But yeah, I'm glad that the tip videos were good as well. Oh shoot. All right, selection showtime. I would say we have a 0% chance to be part of the selection show, but we're gonna watch it slowly anyway and see what happens. Yeah, I think most of those tip videos ought to be enough to get you started out and up and running. But once you get past that, like really a lot of this, people talk about like recruiting as an art or whatever. And like I kind of get what they're talking about. Like there's not a thing, you can't say like do 1, 2, 3, 4 and you'll definitely win every game. You just can't do that. So I hope that the tip videos are enough to like get everybody over that like learning curve at the beginning. But once you get beyond that, everybody has to find their own style, and everyone does it differently. So glad you watched it. Glad it was helpful for you. And I hope you find your own style. And I don't know if you're in our online league or not, but if you're not, I hope you join it because we like to bring players of every different style, shape, flavor. The more the merrier. So we got Ooey Pooey versus the Jerry Rice Delta Devils. Drexel and Winthrop. All right, so we're not in the play-in games. Definitely not looking good for us. Got Villanova, Oregon, UNC, who is not usually that great in this game. Glad to see them up there. And Dayton grabs a 4 seed. New Mexico, Miami, Pitt, and Oklahoma State. Woo! Now, this is against a conference opponent, but Tulane just made the NCAA at an at-large bid. Woo! So we're playing Southern Methodist. They just beat us in the American Athletic Conference Tournament, but we get them again in the first round of the NCAAs. Wow, I had no expectation of making this tournament. That is shocking to me. But all we can do is surf on along. Syracuse, Minnesota, VCU, UC. There's Memphis and UConn. I bribed Gary. I sent all my bribes straight to the devs, and they code this stuff in there so that my Twitch videos that get 4 viewers can really be exciting. They changed their whole game code just for that. Look at Louisville. Look at the Cardinals. 10 seed. Who's a 9 seed? Tulane. I think I might have to go fix that Louisville Cardinal program. I don't know. NC State, Wisconsin, South Carolina, Ohio State, Kansas State, Georgia Tech. There's a lot of states in it. Look at that. North Carolina State. All right, so we missed Wisconsin, South Carolina. But then Ohio State, Kansas State, Georgia Tech, San Diego State. Just seems like a lot of states to me. Hawaii pulled the 14. So, we just made the NCAA tournament. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We got 2 of our 5 starters are freshmen, and this is not our best class. Next year is going to be off the hook. I can't even wait. But first, let's do some damage here. Let's see if we can get Tulane a win in the NCAA tournament. That would be huge. And a shot against Villanova. BB Higgins. BB Higgins. Chris knows what's up. He's ready for next year. Chris, we're in the NCAAs, man. Like, this is interesting. This is great. Next year's going to be so crazy. I cannot wait. All right, guys, but here we go. This is actually on this save, on this stream, on the GM Games stream. I've never been in the NCAA tournament. Florida A&M never made the NCAA tournament. I can't even remember the best tournament they made. Tulane was in the CBI once. Never been in NIT. So this is by far, postseason-wise, the biggest game of the stream so far. And the game is against conference opponent Southern Methodist, the Mustangs, and the Green Wave. They beat us in the conference tournament on a neutral court. We get another shot, a shot at redemption in the NCAA tournament. So let us see what happens. This would be a great, great win to get us moving. And if we lose, it's nothing but motivation. 15 points. 15 points. What? What, SMU? What do you say about that? Look at it. Look at Ledoux. Look at Lucius. Ledoux was 16. Look at Stetson. 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Boy went off. He's a freshman. He's a freshman. That's crazy. So we were out by 11 in the first half. Stretched it out by 4 more in the second. And the Tulane Green Wave have won the first NCAA tournament game of this stream. Man, it's a good feeling. I've got to tell you, I didn't think we would even make it. I didn't even check players declaring for the draft. I didn't even think we would make it. But not only did we make it, we won the first game. So we're going to have a shot against the Villanova Wildcats here. And, you know, once you get into this NCAA tournament, you never know what could happen. In our online league, we just had 3 of the 4 1 seeds all lost before the Sweet 16. So you never know what could happen. Villanova should win this game. But, you know, we're playing with house money at this point. So let's see. Let's go out there and get them. Oh, we got smoked. 95-58. We got sent home. There's no Green Wave crashing on the shores today. Villanova took care of us. But we got our 1 win. So, and when you think about it, like that's going to get a lot of our goals for the season taken care of. We're guaranteed we're moving up in prestige. We got the requisite number of wins. We got our we got all the oops and face palms coming in now. A little bit of a delay there, but we got our wins, we got our prestige, we got our recruits. We were supposed to make the NIT. We actually made the NCAA, so that's going to be an advantage. So I thought the wave was going to get them too. I tried to time it out right. I tried to suck them out with the undertow or something. Didn't quite get there. I thought we had it. I was waiting for the big upset. I was going to be jumping out of the chair. Just never came. The chicks never came. So let's sim this out, get to the end of the season. I would like to see if we have any kind of conference awards. Maybe a freshman of the year. Ledoux was a heck of a player as a freshman. I don't know what the other freshmen in this conference looked like necessarily. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going too fast here. I got into the NCAA and I got all excited, and then I just skipped over all the good games for you. So, all right. In our Syracuse region, we got Villanova over Oregon. They're headed to the Final Four. Syracuse over Minnesota. In Nashville, the Arizona Wildcats took out the Baylor Bears. And NC State over Wisconsin in the Spokane region. So, Villanova, Syracuse, Arizona, NC State, all chalk in the Final Four. 3 games left in your NCAA season. So let's see what happens here. Going to get a save as we move into our new month. And here we go. Your 2027 Final Four. Whew. There went Arizona. I didn't see who won the other game. I know Agalia's in here talking up the pack. See you later, Arizona. And so Villanova 75-67 over the Cuse. We got Villanova and NC State. Is this the 83 matchup? Is there somebody in chat that's Googling this? Who did NC State beat when they won their championship? Was it Villanova? That can't be right. Should have been around the time Houston was good, but I don't think it was Houston, was it? Who did NC State beat for their championship? Somebody Google that. While we're waiting on that out of the chat, we're going to move on, see what happens in our championship game. And the Villanova Wildcats took out NC State by 19 points. So no Jimmy V running around looking for somebody to hug. Villanova took care of business. Let's get to our award show. All right, so here are the individual awards. You can see Brendan Marcus. Was it against Houston? I mean, it would make sense. So it was around the right time for Houston. Well, we got some UK stuff going on in here, Galia, if you're still around. Villanova, Coach of the Year. First team All-Americans, Tennessee, Memphis, UK, North Carolina, and Kansas State. Kansas, Memphis, Oregon, Villanova, West Virginia. All right. It's boring me. Yeah, with like Olajuwon and Drexler, right? I mean, I know Louisville played that Houston team once. I think it was in the Final Four and lost. All right, so here you go in the American. Pat Leith out of Memphis, Player of the Year. Tulsa got the Defensive Player of the Year. Chris Ledoux, Freshman of the Year. Boom, I told you he had a chance at it. Look at that, 12 points a game, an assist, 6.5 rebounds, plus a steal. Although Doc Sadler out of SMU got Coach of the Year, I don't know if the voting committee watched the NCAA tournament or not. Brian Scott beat Doc Sadler in the NCAA tournament, but apparently that's irrelevant. So let's move on to first team all conference. We got Memphis, Wichita State, UC, Memphis, and Tulsa. And look at that. Tulane pulls 2 second-teamers, not only Chris Ledoux, but also Damon Lucius. So both of our inside guys are second-team all-conference players. James White from UConn. James White is an old player from UC. I've met the guy. He should be a UC player, so I don't know what's wrong with the James White here. Kind of looks like him a little bit, as I recall, but... All right, so S. Hunter has confirmed for us. It was NC State over Houston. That was the championship game. So, questioned and answered. But so there you go. Tulane, we got the Freshman of the Year. We got 2 second-team all-conference players, 1 a freshman, 1 a senior. So Lucius will be gone next year. Ledoux will be back. That's all that we're going to get out of the awards show. Yeah, I definitely remember it being a buzzer beater. I couldn't remember for sure if it was Houston or not. Was that 83? I think Houston might have beat Louisville in the Final Four that year. Or either that or that was the year that Arkansas beat Louisville in like the Elite 8 or Sweet 16 with a like full court shot prayer. I'd usually remember that guy's name, but it's not coming to me. All right, so let's check our email, see if we lost any of our assistants. Oh, here's our season review. 31 up to 36. So not too shabby considering that first year of recruiting was acceptable. This next year it's going to be crazy. I hope we ought to be able to move that up 5 points every year. Every year. We should be right up there above. Yeah, I think you got it right, Hunter. But yeah, we should get Tulane right up there. We should be above UConn, UC, all those. We'll get them there eventually. Just need time at this point. Let's take a quick look at our staff. 4, 2, and 2 years remaining. So nobody's contracts are expiring. Let's advance, see if we get any other offers. Yeah, we had a good season. And look at this. Now, oh my gosh. Now the interesting offers start to roll in. Look at Colorado. I'd love to be coaching at Colorado. Oh, man. It'd be so interesting, but I think, like, Tulane has everything that we need. And Tulane has everything that we need not only to be successful, but everything that I sort of wanted to show in this playthrough as far as what you can really achieve at any school, if you're evaluating talent right and if you're doing the strategy right and everything overall. If you have a plan, you stick to the plan and that sort of thing. Right. We're not abandoning him. We're staying here. I would love to, like, Colorado was one of the schools when I came into this save. I was like, man, Colorado was one of the, Colorado and Nebraska were the 2 that I had in mind that I kind of wanted to get to. So you can see I've got the offer for it right here, but with Tulane, we've got a good conference. We've got a good conference schedule. Tulane offers you everything you need to be successful at this game. We're sticking with Tulane. Let's just see if we're losing any of our coaches. that hurts a little bit, don't get me wrong. I thought a lot about coaching at Colorado. It would have been pretty interesting, I think. Look at all these frowny faces. So we shouldn't even have to do anything. It doesn't look like any of our coaches got offers anywhere else. We can move straight on ahead. I guess it takes a while for everybody else to hire coaches. I can bring them in quicker than that. All right, so we got our meeting with the board now. And what do we want to ask for here? See, I feel like our budget's fine. You know, I'm just going to go, obviously, time should be fine. Yeah, Hunter, so if your coaches get offers from other schools, like they're not going to take a worse offer. If they get a better offer, yeah, they just leave. You don't have any opportunity to negotiate with them. So yeah, job security is at 100. Our budget's fine. We are going to request a facilities upgrade. Yeah, and that's the reason, if you watched, I think in one of my tips videos, I recommended, like, I always throw down money on a recruiting assistant. And so I always make them the first assistant and I always make them highly paid because I don't want other people to easily be able to steal them away. So that's, like, just sort of building on that. Yeah, I figured this would be the year I'd get above 500 overall as a coach. Request denied. All right, guys, so here is where I would regularly bring the season to a close. We've played all the games, we've done all the coaching, everything. We've got our staff set, but we've got a killer recruiting class coming in. So anybody that wants to bail now, feel free. You've seen all of the regularly scheduled content, but I'm going to bring you a bonus like 3 minutes, which is going to be jumping in. I might as well go ahead and hit the button so I can start processing. We're going to go ahead and jump ahead to the next season because I would like to see when these recruits come in exactly what they look like. And I would like to see who transfers out. And I would like to see what our recruiting class looks like. So these are all things that I normally tend to do offline. But I'm so excited. If I'm excited about it, I hope that, you know, that carries over and you guys are excited about it. So I hope you all are patient with the processing here in the off season as we wait to see exactly what we've got coming in, because I'm pretty excited about it, to be quite honest. It should be pretty good. We made the NCAA this season. Starting next season, like legitimately, what were we, a 9 seed? Like we should be at least like a 6 seed, give or take, starting next season. And Higgins isn't a bust. Good luck, buddy. Higgins, he was the MVP of a regional camp. I'm pretty sure he was top 25 at... Wait, where was he top 25? No, he might have gone to Indy. I think he went to Indy and I didn't see that. So I can't speak to his national camp, but he was MVP of the Great Plains region. Guarantee you that dude's a baller. So we got 5 scholarships open for next year. So not only did we have a good foundation and then brought in a killer class, but we got 5 scholarships for next year. So let's see what the recruiting class rankings are. I can't remember what I promised on this one. What did I say? Top 10? Oh, 14th. So we brought in the 14th ranked recruiting class. I don't remember if I said top 10 or not. All right, so there is our recruiting class ranking. Now we need to buy reports. Let's see how much money we got. Yeah, I was 55th last season. I promised 50th or above, and I ended up 55th, so I got kind of hosed there. We still got 62,000. So we will request the Southeast Basic and the Great Plains Basic. That's 10. Oh, I'd love to get the National Basic, to be quite honest. I'll stick with this. I will stick with this. Click the dashboard on. Oh, no, no, no. No, Agelia, that's the whole point. I don't click the dashboard. I draw this out as long as possible, dude. I try not to do it until after they announce who's transferring out, so that I'll lose those guys, and then I come in at the end. Like, I'll wait as long as possible. I know that's the payoff, so I intentionally hold it out on myself. So I'm definitely doing it to you guys. This is bonus coverage anyway. Y'all usually don't get this. Don't complain. I'm messing with you, man. Don't look. All right, players transferring. Nobody. All right, nobody transferred. Now, nobody transferred, so that's good because we did have a number of frowny faces, and at least one of them was an underclassman. So now we can take a look. So we had BB Higgins, the center. He was ridiculous. We had 2 shooting guards that were both 4 stars, and then we had Mr. 2 first names. I can't remember him. I think he was a small forward. Let's see what the team looks like this year. Ooh, Higgins showing up as a 2. I guarantee you that's way, way off. Look at the inside. Look at the potential, though. On the shot blocking, the drawing fouls, for the potential to be that high, these initial ratings. And it's only June. So here's the thing. Because, look, it's showing Marquette Holmes 4.5. Showing Calvin Harris at 3.5. Stetson's still at 3.5. That one I'm kind of with. Sean Larry is coming in at 2. So Marquette Holmes is probably a hair high. Harris, I'm not sure. Look at Ladeau up at a 4-star. He's not a bust. Marquette Holmes was one of our 4-star shooting guard commitments. I'm pretty sure he was a top 10 at his camp. Agelia, just wait. I think so. All of these ratings, like you get initial ratings and then you get an adjusted rating before the season started. I think these are still initial. I'm not certain. Let's see what happens if we move this forward until after we buy reports. I guarantee you, Higgins is starting for me. He's not a bust, 100%. I am going to skip the transfers, though. Agalia's not right. He can give me shit all he wants. BB Higgins is basically the Shaq of Tulane. And just because it moves, like, it doesn't matter where it moves to, our scouts are still awful. No, our scouts are awful. Higgins is not a bust, I'll guarantee it. I bet my life Higgins is better than our scouts think he is. So let this run through. We'll plan our summer schedule. and then see if those ratings adjust. And then that's where I'm going to save it, because I don't want to encroach on our next recruiting video. So we got $52,000. We are going to go to Indy Elite because I was recruiting just straight up top 50 players last year. And then we're going to grab Memphis and Houston. So that's about $15,000 worth. So we ought to have $37,000 or so to land 5 recruits. I think we can do that all right. Not going to happen. Completely incorrect. Higgins is going to average at least 12 and 8, and he's not going pro until at least his junior year. Throw that bet down right now. I didn't have any scholarships available for transfers this year, buddy. All right, so these scouting ratings are holding where they're at. So, you know, here's the awesome thing about Higgins is, like, I've got faith in him, and these 2 seniors are obviously trash. Malone might be good. But we can go throughout this year and start Stetson, Holmes, I guess Lusick, Ladeau, Higgins, and let Harris sort of be that, like, third guard or maybe second small forward. And this is a ridiculously good team. So I'm going to cut it off here just because, I don't know, I think my wife's probably mad at me. Because otherwise I would sit down here and play this season out, because I can't wait to show you what this dude's going to do. It's going to be ridiculous. I promise you it will be. You know, Agelia, I know you gave me a lot of grief on the Florida A&M thing, where I told you, like, when I got this recruit, that was the point of the save where everything was going to turn around. And you're like, oh, I heard you, I just didn't believe you. Well, you're wrong once. Don't be wrong again. BB Higgins is going to be legit. But I'm going to cut it off there for the night. Guys, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you got things you'd like to see or whatnot, or questions, just reach out. But thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch y'all next time.